She was in the library and working, and this wasp came down and stung her, and stung her once or twice, and she couldn't get out of it, and she reacted to it, and she got swollen up on her, where did she get, her arm or something? Arm went really big. They had to rush her to the doctor and had a doctor treated, and she had that arm was swollen and sore for like 2 weeks or more. She got poisoned by that wasp. You heard about that, didn't you, Mary, when Vivian got stung at the library?
Yeah.
God, she really went through hell. It was 2 weeks before that arm healed up. Lakeview, of course, the other golf course when I was, I don't know, probably was in our 20s or 30s.
Well, I remember it, so.
And I hit the ball in these bushes.
You're more like 40s.
And I went to get the ball out with my thing, and I hit this bee hive in these bushes, and they all attacked me, and of course knocked me back down, and of course I got down and I can't get up with this stupid leg, and I'm laying there with the 5-iron going like this, fighting, and the rest of my 3 guys sit and laughed at me.
Yeah,
I got stung. I got stung 13 times on my forehead alone.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh my gosh.
And I kept yelling, and they just laughed, and I'm going like this with the bees.
Oh!
It was terrible because I couldn't get up,
Well, I would have helped you up.
Oh. Did you continue the game?
Yeah, I continued to play, but when I got home, I had all these, 13 of them we counted to my forehead alone. I couldn't believe it. I was so mad at those guys. I said, my God, you could. Then it wasn't really funny. They thought it was really funny.
The worst thing you can do by seeing the bee sting is when you're by a pool and you sit down and the stinger goes up the crack.
That happened, Grandpa. When it went up Grandpa's crack.
Dick, tell that story again.
They didn't hear
Dick, tell that story again.
Oh, that was. I never will forget that. The bumblebee got me. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Vivian and I were sitting out in the front lawn on the lawn chairs, and this big bumblebee in those yellow jackets came by, and I had the newspaper, and I went whack like this kid, and he falls over dead, and I didn't think anything about it, and he was only stunned, and he crawled up my pant leg down here all the way up to my butt and stung me right in the butt. I said, like that, and I ran in the house. Vivian took my pants down and pulled the stinger out. Oh God, that hurt. Oh, he got so even with me. I couldn't believe it.
Stung Grandpa right in the bottom.
But to crawl up your pant leg all the way up to your butt.
Yeah, and you didn't feel it. That's what I can't believe.
Oh
God.
Washington D.C. That was just I forgot the name of the hotel. It was the big one right across from almost the Capitol. I mean, it was. You could look at the balcony and you could see the
White House?
The White House. Yeah, it was right close by. So it was an expensive one, I know. But of course those days was supposed to be, we were going to pay $13 for the night, and they had, the room wasn't filled with the people, so they just took us up to the suite. Same price. We got that suite, and goes in this, look inside, and this big grand piano, and this had kitchen, separate kitchen, and oh my God, it was big enough, like a huge big living room and a kitchen, and then the 2 bedrooms. It was just like a house. Boy, we lived it up.
Life.
I ordered champagne, and we had we really lived it up.
Did they let you stay there the whole time, or just that night?
I think we just stayed that one night. Yeah.
Probably didn't want
And
to
then
go
the
out.
second night, I think we got our other room.
You're back down with the peasants there.
Yeah. But that balcony was so beautiful, looking out. That was a pretty part. We just sat out there, had breakfast out there in the balcony there, and
yeah,
looking out over the Capitol. It was a beautiful sight. that was the days when I wanted to take you kids into Washington, D.C., because that was when there was no violence and crimes and stuff. And I wanted to take you guys there. And then right after that, that was 1960, when Kennedy was in office. And right after that, it just turned terrible. The crime came, and you couldn't dare take the kids to all these free places. They used to have camping areas. You'd bring your family, you could camp and everything. Couldn't do it. It was just too much crime, and it's too dangerous. Yeah, it was Dallas or somewhere went down with that.
You were in the
That's when Dan Rather screwed me. I was supposed to make this question to Nixon. I was supposed to do it, and I was going to stand up. It was my turn, and Dan Rather snuck in. He wasn't supposed to be there, and he sits up behind me and starts asking the question. Of course, me. I let him do it. I shouldn't have.
well, I can't.
Was
believe
that the
you-
famous, what do you have, something to hide,
Yeah.
Mr. President?
This
Deal?
is when Nixon was in trouble with the Watergate, and just before, the whole thing was going on, and Nixon was still president, and he had this news conference, and of course, the big reporters like Rather and those big guys snuck in. They weren't supposed to be there because it was just supposed to be for our News Directors Association, and we had drawn ballots to see who's going to get to ask the questions. And it was my turn. I was on this two sides. We go back and forth. And I just ready to go stand up to make my question because I had this something away from the farm question. I had a good farm question for him. And Dan Rather was sitting right behind me. He stands up, beats me to it, and starts to ask a question.
Sure.
Damn Rather instead of Dan Rather.
Dan Rather.
Damn rather.
Yeah.
Well, that
So it was on TV and stuff. I was hoping the people back home would see me,
yeah.
Hell, I didn't even get a chance to
Sit
get
down,
on
Dan.
TV.
You should have asked him, "Are you going to resign?" Is this?
No,
Go
Rather
ahead,
was
resign.
asking some question on the Watergate thing. This is the one I got. Crest. I think that's the toothpaste one. I guess. I don't know what it is.
It's gross.
I had this beautiful pen that First National Bank gave me, and just before I left here, I was wearing it all the time. I threw it on my dresser, and between the mirror and the dresser, it slid down behind it, and there's no way I can move that dresser. It's so big and heavy, and it's underneath on the floor, and I'll never be able to get it because I'd need two people just to move the dresser back to get it.
Well, when we come home next time, remind us and we'll.
So I use this one instead.
Oh, that's a good one.
You see my book every day. I have to have that book, find out what I'm going to do every day. Look at all the meetings I have.
Grandpa's got a full schedule, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Did you slot in coming to
yeah, I
North
got
Carolina?
that. I got that down here somewhere. What's the date?
The March
31st.
31st.
Tomorrow's April 1st.
April Fool's Day. Oh, I gotta go with the car.
Today's
Wow.
date. April 1st.
No,
Today's
tomorrow's April 1st.
But I had to have your permission to do this.
Daylight Savings Time and April Fool's Day. You got to get it. April Fool's joke.
That's the
Time to get on the air. And I grab the stuff and just
rip and run.
Rip and run.
And I have this trail of paper behind me.
Jeez. You know, you hear them rustling your papers.
I know it.
Yeah.
Well,
Dun,
Peter,
dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Da-da-da.
They always knew I was late doing something, going on
You
the
got to
air.
see him recording the news? Yeah, secret.
When?
Yeah, well,
Why
you
to
would
be
be
so
very
quiet?
young because Grandpa retired when you were. How long have you been retired now, Dad? 7 years?
I remember.
Actually, I worked part-time
Oh, that's right.
4 years, so I retired in
I remember it good.
Well, then you would
90
have been older.
what's
Seven?
this 2090 90. God, I can't think. But I think
Well, so say 65, 69 minus, what, 3, so about 90, maybe 98, 97? 97, 98, somewhere in there.
o'clock to 6 or something like that.
What
I
would
didn't like
you-
the afternoon.
You want to do the morning?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
See,
you
that's
have to
when the
get up
news. That's
early.
when the news. We pick the news up in the morning.
Dick, what was your original schedule? 5 or 6 in the morning, then you came back at...
Well, I always got there by. Well, I usually get there before 5, and I'd get there and then finish at 12:30 or so, and then I'd come back at usually 3 o'clock till 6:30, and then go to the meetings at night. That's what killed me, was go to the stupid
know,
meeting
I-
and sit in the
School
meeting.
board
The
or-
city councils
or
are
city
so
council?
boring in those days because they never get. They just sit there and talk about everything but the news, and I just sit back there and fall asleep.
I bet.
I got threatened by, I think, one of your friends. You know that girl that you went with, and she had this. I was in the car, you were with me, and I made a comment about her brother. He was a hood,
Who's
and I
that?
said something about him. Remember? And she was in the car with us.
She was my friend?
Well, she was one of your girls. There were about 3 of you girls in the car, and I made that thing, and then he called me up and threatened me to, when he found out. She told the brother that I said something.
Who's
All I
that?
said is that, well, there goes, what was her name? They got a lot of kids.
Not Madigan.
Not Madigans, but
Not
Kringlands.
Oh, Kringlands.
Kringlands, yeah.
Oh, Lynn Kringland.
Yeah. You were
Oh.
with us in the car, and where I was driving you girls somewhere, and this Kringland kid had been in some kind of,
Well, all those Kringlands were in
Hood.
trouble all the time.
and I said, oh, there's that Kringland kid, and I didn't know if she was a Kringland, and I didn't say much more than that, but she went and told him that I said something derogatory, and then he called me up and he's going to beat me up, and well, never did, but Kringlands were a tough bunch.
Yeah, they were a tough bunch.
Yeah.
There were some tough people in Owen.
Yeah, there were. Well, Dan was always smart enough. He always made friends with all of them, so he wouldn't get.
Yeah.
Remember,
Beat up.
he'd made friends with all of them, so he wouldn't get in trouble. That was funny.